Hey, it's A Humble Collector here, and today's video we're going to take a look at the two-panel death card of Max Wolfel. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. So going right from the top here, we have a photo of Max, and then in memory of the brave hero, Max Wolfel from Bodenmais, a Gefreiter in a Grenadier regiment, who suffered a heroic death in the East on August 26, 1943, at the age of 22. Now, I was actually able to find a casualty record for Max. Max was born on September 15th, 1921 in Bodenmais and was a member of the 6th Company of Storm Regiment 195, part of the 78th Storm Division. Now, that's a bit of an unusual unit, a Storm Division, and it's one that I'd heard of, but I hadn't had a card or a reason to dig into it further until now. So the Germans seem to have used the 78th Infantry Division, redesignating it the 78th Storm Division, as kind of a test bed for a new kind of divisional equipment template, basically. But basically, when they reorganized it, each regiment was reduced to a single heavily upgraded battalion. So the battalion consisted of 4 assault companies, a pioneer company, and a heavy support company. And like I said, the equipment they were equipped with varied, but basically it was higher numbers of machine guns than a normal unit would have, higher numbers of mortars, infantry assault guns. They had extra support artillery. Eventually, they were assigned assault gun detachments as well. And the general thought seems to have been that by creating a division that had a lot of firepower, it would be an offset to the manpower loss that, taking a regiment and reducing it to a battalion would do. And that kind of makes sense at this point in the war. Max was killed in 1943. At this point, a lot of the veteran German soldiers from the early part of the war have died or been critically wounded, fighting on the Eastern Front. But at the same time, the Allied bombing campaign hasn't really knocked out Germany's factories yet. And, those are getting tooled up. They're, delivering more equipment. So it kind of makes sense where you're looking for a trade-off of, can I reduce the number of men in a frontline unit and increase the amount of material and still have the same level of combat effectiveness? Now, there were only 2 Storm divisions assembled, as far as I could tell. The 78th Storm Division here, and then there were Storm Division Rhodes, which was being put together in Greece from a couple disparate units. It never reached above battalion strength and eventually got absorbed into Panzer Grenadier Division Brandenburger. So obviously, given the fact that other units were not arranged into a similar organization, didn't really work out that well, I guess, in actual combat. Now, Max here would be killed by a direct artillery hit 2 kilometers east of Rushnoye, and is buried in the Unknown Soldiers section of the Kursk Military Cemetery. Now, I do actually have a card for another member of the 78th Division, Josef Thalhammer, who was a Schütze in the 8th Company of Infantry Regiment 238, was killed by a headshot at Sukharevo, Russia, on November 3rd, 1941. And actually, another member of the Wolfel family, Josef Wolfel, I didn't find a casualty record for him, but I had somebody comment on my video that they think he was part of Volksgrenadier Division 78, which was a rebranding of the Storm Division later on in the war. So I'm not 100% certain if that's correct because the commenter didn't provide their source for that. And, I find that random people on the internet tend to be pretty knowledgeable, but without actually seeing a casualty record or, something saying, yeah, it was definitely that unit he was with, I'm hesitant to say 100%. But Josef Wolfel is an Unteroffizier, possibly in Volksgrenadier Division 78, who was killed at Jagendorf in the Czech Republic on March 23rd, 1945. Now, moving to the bottom of the card here. Farewell to your loved ones. You say goodbye, and all your loved ones' hearts want to wither from pain. The blow that hit us is heavy. The bond is torn. Goodbye, because God called me. My fate was a soldier's death. So console yourselves, look to heaven. What God does is well done. Then moving to the back of the card here, we have a lovely HCOM 312 backing. Remember our Queen, illuminate our dark minds, and give the pure goodness of faith, the strength of hope, and the glow of love. I've always been a big fan of this HCOM backing, actually. It's one of my favorites. But yeah, overall, really interesting card. I actually had a lot of trouble finding that casualty record. The first time through, I couldn't find it. Fellow collector, commenter on a lot of my videos, Will, he actually was the one who put me on to an Ancestry. You can actually search by just a first name and a last name, like letter. And that actually is how I found Max's card. It was filed under Max W. So without his help, I definitely would not have been able to find that. But yeah, overall, I hope you guys all enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment down below. Love hearing from you. Thank you all for watching. Happy collecting, and I'll see y'all again very soon.